I just wanted to talk about something that rescuers have to face, and the public often does not understand, and that makes it really difficult. And any haters of that organization will jump on board and try to discredit the organization or say how horrible they are. And rescues get dangerous animals in from time to time, and sometimes we have to make really, really tough decisions. But there's kind of different guidelines for euthanasia that are set by professionals, and obviously the ones that are hurting and have medical problems, they're chronic, we can't fix, those ones do need the humane euthanasia. But then there's those horses and dogs and stuff that, are dangerous. They're a danger to themselves or a danger to others. And those are the hardest cases when, we get them as rescues. And last night we posted the euthanasia reports from this last auction where we rescued 36 horses. And one of the horses, she was a pretty interesting horse, in the fact that at times she was not afraid to be around you, and then at other times she would be very frightened to be around you. And I fully intended for her to stay here and be evaluated over the course of time. And during her intake, it became clear that she was more dangerous than what I thought she was. And our medical team, I told them, this is the one that I think is pretty dangerous, be careful. And basically, she reminded me, I don't know if you've seen the movie Buck Brannaman. If you haven't, I definitely recommend watching it. There was a horse in that movie that was very, very aggressive. And I know a lot about that situation because I knew the vet that ultimately had to put that horse to sleep. And she actually used Horse Plus's tranquilizer gun that we have for horses. That horse was fine if you were doing what it thought was okay. And then as soon as you pushed any of its buttons, it became extremely aggressive. And in the video, it actually attacks a person. And Buck talked to the owner, and he had some really strong words for her of when you have a dangerous horse. And as Buck was working, with the horse became extremely aggressive, and somebody else was working with the horse. The horse attacked him. Horses can kill people. I have seen severe injuries happen from horses, and even though I was seeing these severe problems, I'm like, well, let's give her a week, and let's get her just a little bit of time. And us just trying to move her around, she was striking out both front legs. This wasn't like, I'm scared, get away from me. This was like, I'm gonna kill you. And I was like, we just give her a week. But the veterinarian team that was out here doing the intake, one of them who's been around a lot of horses, and they're vet, but the lady's like, look, that horse is gonna kill somebody. And if we know we have a dangerous animal that has been deemed that it could hurt somebody, we have to make a really tough decision. And it wasn't a decision that I made solely. It wasn't a decision that any of us made solely. We discussed about it. It was a hard decision we had to make. But for that horse, it's really sad. And we have to realize that rescuers have to step into the shoes of people that, walked away from that horse. We don't know what that horse's history was. A lot of horses that behave this way, they may have, some type of brain damage. The horse with Buck Brannaman was deprived of air at birth, basically. And that was probably part of the problems with that horse. But it's hard enough rescuing horses. When we were at auction, if we see a horse that is, having dangerous behavior, rescuing that horse and making the determination with a veterinarian, who's an equine professional, is the best we can do. We don't take euthanasia lightly. And I think, just the thing to think about here is, would you have rather us been like, she's too much, somebody's going to get hurt, so we're not going to rescue her, and she loads up on a slaughter truck and she could be being brutally killed in Mexico right now, or make the decision to have her peacefully, humanely euthanized instead of going to that horrible fate at a slaughterhouse? We're not, horse slaughter is real. It happens. Thousands and thousands of horses exported for horse slaughter. And it's always just really sad when there are people that they don't look at the big picture. And, if we hadn't had rescued her out of the slaughter pipeline, her story would have never been told. But we stepped up. We did the best we could for her, following our veterinarian's advice. And people find out about her. And, some people are, like, how dare you euthanize that horse without giving her a chance? She was here. She was evaluated. Now, ultimately, I would love to give her more time. If she hadn't had showed such dangerous behavior, she would have had more time. But I can't chance one of our staff getting hurt on a horse that we know is dangerous. One other thing I want to just point out is horse traders and kill buyers, they go to auctions. They'll post the horses up on their kill pens and say, hey, we're going to ship this horse in 3 days. And many of those horses, they do ship if they're not purchased. And I think the most mind-boggling thing for me is you can have this kill buyer who's openly shipping horses to a brutal death, and people are, trying to help the horse, which is, we want to help these horses. It's really, really sad. We try to help them before the kill buyers get them. And then that horse gets shipped to slaughter. And where's the outrage at that kill buyer? There's so much outrage when a rescue has to make a tough decision and euthanize a horse that, has a very, severe problem that, we have to make tough decisions sometimes, but that's part of being a responsible rescue, is listening to your vet and following the vet's advice and, doing what you can for the horses that are in your care, even if it's a tough decision. But the kill buyers will buy these horses, they'll list them. If nobody buys them, they ship them to slaughter, and everyone's like, oh, another one went to slaughter, but oh, he posted another one, let's try to save this one. Where's the outrage for the thousands of horses that these kill buyers are literally shipping to slaughter? Like, I see them loaded up on slaughter trucks, and it is horrific. I have seen downed horses in slaughter trucks, and until you walk in the shoes of a rescuer and you see the horrific things that rescuers see, I just say, please have patience and please have understanding, because we have seen so many horrible, horrible situations. And yes, we had to make a tough decision for that horse, but we were listening to our veterinarian's advice, and I would have loved for her to stay here longer. and given her a second chance. But how would I have felt if she ran out as somebody striking at them and trampled them and killed them? We have to look at all these different options of what could happen. And I just really want to urge everyone to focus the frustration on the slaughter pipeline, because kill buyers are shipping horses to horrific death by the thousands, and we need that anger and upsetness to go to the real problem. And if you don't like our organization because we had to make a tough call on one horse, look at our euthanasia reports. They're public. They're on our Facebook page. Look through these reports. It's all this year, it's been medical problem after medical problem. This was the first horse that we had to really look at from a danger perspective and say, we're going to have to put this horse down because it's dangerous. It's going to hurt somebody. So please consider all of that. And if we hadn't have rescued that horse, you wouldn't feel how you do right now if you're upset about the situation, because you would have never known about her and she would have quietly disappeared in the slaughter pipeline and been horrifically killed. But we were there, we stepped up, we made a very difficult decision, but she was saved from that horrific fate. Being a rescuer is not easy. It's late nights, early mornings, and a whole lot of work. And it's 100% worth it, because we are changing the lives for so many horses. So I hope this might have answered a few questions for you.